A Buffalo Bills rookie tight end might just be the next George Kittle. Today, we're going to be talking about Jackson Haw. And I know, Bills Mafia, that is a bold statement. That's a big statement. And you might be looking at me, you're like, who is this guy? Why am I listening to him? He is off his rocker. But let me tell you, Bills Mafia, let me just get a little energy and a little hype in your system here today. When you look at the measurables, when you look at the tape of both George Kittle and Jackson Haw, and when you see how Joe Brady is already using this player in our offense, even so on Sunday Night Football against the Ravens, you have to be excited for what's coming in his development, in his career and arc and trajectory. So today, this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be breaking down two videos of Jackson Haw's, one from Sunday Night Football of him blocking and one from Sunday Night Football of him being a pass catcher or receiver. But then I want to give you three compelling reasons on why I think they are eerily similar, that is George Kittle to Jackson Haw, and why this kid's ceiling, again, might be greater and bigger than we even expected. But my name's Colin. This is Crack the Table. We are all Bills and no breaks. Join our community by just subscribing, but also if you like breakdowns like this one on rookies, on rumors, on anything around the Bills, Buffalo Bills football, make sure to hit the like. Yeah, subscribe, join our community. Make sure you comment below on what you think about Jackson Haw. But let's get right into it. I want to start off with a clip from this past game, from this Sunday night of Jackson Haw. He's lined up on the other side of the line. That's not him right there. He's over here. He's number 85. He's going to make a chip block right on the shoulder of this player right here. And then he's going to make another block and push the guy further and further out. Now, he kind of loses his footing at the end of it, but what do we see from Jackson Haw right here? He is, I'm going to let this roll a second here. He uses his excellent pad level to get a chip on one guy, and then he goes out to the second level and continues to make an elite level, veteran level block, which creates room and spacing for our running back to get yards past the line of scrimmage. And it's not just about strength, though this guy is very strong and he's got a great level of athleticism. It's about his technique, it's about his leverage, and even it's about him finishing the block to the end of the play, even though he fell. That kind of block as a player is the difference between a couple yards, 2 or 3, and a lot of yards, 6+, right? In a power run situation, this is the kind of guy that you want fresh coming onto the field and replacing a guy like Dawson Knox or a Dalton Kincaid when we are trying to get those short few yards here and there. Again, this is a technique that can't always be picked up and taught very early on by a rookie tight end, but it looks like he's already excelling something, and we've been hearing all summer from our coaching staff that this kid is exceptional and that he is an incredible blocker, but he's showing a level of physicality, a level of grit, and a level of conviction or a level of power even here early on. But again, now check out this receiving rep here on the screen. This is also from Sunday Night Football, and I'm going to let this one run as well as I talk about, but he's over here to the right. He's going to run down. The safety or the linebacker there is going to try to track him. It's zone coverage. He fits right into the middle of the scheme, and he's got a clean release. No one gets a hand on him. They're just playing zone defense. He runs the route perfectly, gets separation, and catches it in stride. That's timing, that's precision, and that's polish, right? You usually see a rookie tight end, especially drafted later in the NFL draft, either having one of two abilities. Either they're a great pass catcher or they're a great run blocker. This guy is showing that he knows how to run routes and how he knows how to get open down the field. And when a rookie tight end is sharp in both of those, that's dangerous. We talk about value. That's where Brandon Beane is potentially going to make his money here on this draft, and maybe in a couple years as we look back and talk about it. But what's impressive ultimately about his receiving ability is he knew exactly where to be so that Josh Allen wasn't putting the ball in contested space. And so he's not just physical in the run game, he's not just gritty in the run game, but he's sharp and polished, even in his understanding of the defense and where he needs to be to catch the ball, to not put it in harm's way for an interception. Again, I want to break down now 3 reasons why I think this guy is eerily similar to a guy, again, like George Kittle. And the first reason is the draft capital and prospect profile. George Kittle's prospect profile was like this. He was a 5th round pick. He came out in 2017. He was pretty overlooked by people. He was underhyped. He was barely on anyone's radar. Again, there was 4 rounds of the NFL draft that went by that people did not pick George Kittle, but he tested like an explosive elite athlete. And check this out. Remember these numbers. He ran a 4.52 40 at 247 pounds. Now, turning the page here and talking about Jackson Haws ran a 40 and 4.54 at 248 pounds. Basically identical speed in the 40-yard dash, but he was also identical in the fact that they were both picked in the 5th round, showing that he had the same mix of tangible athletic explosiveness and toughness. Again, both were acknowledged as prospects coming out of the NFL, but also both have traits and intangibles that obviously coaches can't just coach. And that's where long shots in the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th round, or 5th, 6th, and 7th round, not 8th round. There's no 8 rounds in the NFL draft, but in the 5th, 6th, and 7th round become stars. That's where long shots become stars. But hey, if you're loving this breakdown already and you just want to continue to spread the word and get the Bills hyped up about this and have conversations about it, just go in the comments and type "Go Bills" for me. It lets me know that you're excited about this Bills content, but also make sure to smash the like button. But I want to get in the second reason why these two players are similar, and it's the physicality. And I want to show you another clip here. And if you just look on the screen, this is actually, I'm going to compare the physicality of Jackson Haw with the physicality of George Kittle here. And this is a clip from 2019 where George Kittle catches a ball. He starts running down the field about 30 yards, and then he gets a defender in his face, right? He peels out after blocking. He gets a defender in his face, and look at what he does. He is violent. He is aggressive. The defender literally has his hand in the face mask of George Kittle. But on this play, he doesn't just stop. He's going. He's hyped up. He's excited. This is the definition of the angry, violent style that got some guys in the NFL, specifically George Kittle or Thomas Rawls or a Marshawn Lynch, some of these other guys have had and showed. But you know who's very similar to this? Jackson Haw. You see flashes of this same fire. He doesn't just block, he also buries defenders. He pancakes them when he can. But in the receiving game, when he gets the ball, he doesn't step out of bounds. He moves vertically up and down the field, and he lowers his shoulder and he forces contact. Early on in the NFL, already this season, he is averaging nearly 5 yards after contact per catch, which is top 10 in the NFL. That's not just production. He is setting a tone and hopefully setting a trajectory for his career in the NFL. Again, it's hard to base the complete future of one player off one game, but when you look who we were playing against, when you look at their core of defensive players, but then you look at already how Joe Brady is using this young guy, again, you have to be excited. We're seeing glimpses of something special. But the third piece, the third reason that I think this is a really compelling comparison is that Kittle thrived in Kyle Shanahan's offense, which was built around his versatility as a player. Again, when you have a tight end who's a blocker and a pass catcher, defenses do not know how to scheme up against you because on any given play, you can sneak out exactly like Joe Brady used, exactly how Joe Brady used Jackson Haw on Sunday night. He was blocking, and then he goes out and he catches, frankly, something that led to the game-winning drives and the game-winning field goal eventually later on in the game because of an amazing play call by Joe Brady. But Haws is stepping into a system with Josh Allen, who frankly can hit him anywhere on the field and can move with him, who can stay consistent. And so if he has a polished route running, we are going to take advantage of that. And yes, we have a Dalton Kincaid who is still arriving or is still aspiring and stretching defenses. He's still growing as a player. He's only a third-year player. And Dawson Knox, who's already commanding and consistently commanding respect in the NFL. But here's the difference. Kittle, when he got to the system in San Francisco, he had to earn every touch that he got. You know what's kind of crazy is to have two amazing tight ends on a roster in Knox and in Kincaid, and still Josh Allen said, I'm going to trust this guy down the field, and we're going to have a potentially game-defining throw and catch at the end of the game when we're down, when we're just trying to grasp for air against the Baltimore Ravens, and he did it. That shows trust, and that shows a level of promise of this future rookie's success. Again, that's exactly how sleepers turn into stars, but I think we do need to ground a little bit of this excitement You know, tight ends are a very, very hard position in the NFL. Unless your name is Tyler Warren or Brock Bowers or one of these other elite guys coming out, usually it takes a couple years for you to really pick up the game and excel at route running or blocking. You know, being a tight end is both half lineman and half receiver. It's full responsibility to know both sides of the offense at all times. It's a hard position. So yes, Haws will have bumps, but here's why it matters. He doesn't need to be the savior. He doesn't need to command targets week in and week out. He doesn't need to make blocks play in and play out, because you know what? He's going to be sharing and rotating snaps with Knox and with Kincaid. Again, and when you look at the depth of this room, you just have to be excited for what happens when potentially Knox moves on, or let's say we don't re-sign a guy like Kincaid in the coming years. But most teams are lucky to have a single legitimate tight end. I think Buffalo has 3. I think we've got 3 now proven players who can be special, and it's not depth, it's firepower, and that's flexibility as we go into the playoff season. But Jackson Haw, is he the next George Kittle? He might be. We've got to be a little stoic. We've got to be realists. He's not going to show up and be a guy like George Kittle right now. And frankly, George Kittle's even hurt right now. But we can't crown him just yet with this supreme level of talent. But the measurables and the tape are flashing, and it gets me excited as a fan that we spent a fifth round pick on a guy who could truly be exceptional going into this season. But hey, my name is Calm. This is Crack the Table. We are all Bills, no breaks here. And we just want to invite you into this community. If you like this breakdown, make sure to hit like, subscribe, maybe share it with a friend. But again, comment below, go Bills, if you're loving Jackson Haw and what he's contributing already to this Buffalo Bills team. See you later. Peace out.